Good evening, everybody. For those of you listening to this episode of Real Steel Sports by Mr. James M. Krasneric on my account or also on the CCAC South Campus page, you're in luck. I'm doing them both at the same time. For CCAC South Campus, this is James Krasneric on Spreaker Web Radio on WSCR. For my home account, it's just the one, the only James M. Krasneric. Here to talk some sports with you. Before I get started, really, I'd like to talk about what I'm going to do in both my segments. I have two segments planned for tonight. First off, my first segment, got some interesting football talk, some predictions for this week, and in my next segment, some other sports news, and also some news about my hometown team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But before I get started, I would like to go ahead and say congratulations to the Boston Red Sox for winning the first World Series in Boston since 1918. They deserved it, and they played some unbelievable baseball, winning the last 3 games against the Cardinals. And in Game 6, that team, there was no stopping that team. That was like a freight train hitting a rooster. I should note that before I really get started here, for those of you that are listening to me on my home account, I'll be doing this format the same way that I do it at school. And for those of you that are listening to me on the school account, I will not be playing any music for you today. The reason why, if you're listening to me on my school account, I couldn't get done was we had some minor technicalities to deal with at school, and I was not able to do it in time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. But first off, I would like to comment on this, is that how many times are we ever going to see a walk-off safety in the NFL? I mean, that's what we saw last night as the Miami Dolphins took down the Cincinnati Bengals 22-20 in South Beach on Halloween. It was an interesting game. Andy Dalton did not play well for the Bengals at quarterback. Giovanni Bernard had a great game at running back, and Lamar Miller for the Dolphins had over 100 yards. As a team, they played a better game, Miami did, and I got to give them credit where credit is due. But the question is, after this game, were the Bengals overrated? And I do think they are. Losing Geno Atkins, their best defensive lineman and best defensive player for the rest of the season, due to a knee injury, a torn ACL, that's got to hurt. I mean, anytime you lose one of your best players on the defensive line, it's going to hurt your team in so many different ways, whether it be in the run defense or in the pass defense, but in this case, the pass rush. I know Michael Johnson and those guys are still good players, but Sipawaga, but they can't compete with Geno Atkins in terms of their impact. If anything, that loss of Geno Atkins might actually open the door for the Steelers, because they play each other one more time at Heinz Field, and the Steelers play their cards right. They aren't exactly out of this yet. If they lose in New England, they're done. But I'll get to that a little bit later. But I do believe the Bengals are overrated. Anytime you lose in that fashion, you go down to South Beach, you play a team with not necessarily the great home field advantage. I mean, if you asked anybody in the crowd or went to that game or saw it on TV, you'd have thought that the fans of the Miami Dolphins, their Halloween costumes were stadium seats, because the seats, it was just so vacant. That stadium was literally vacant all game long. Half the stadium was empty. But the question is, did the Bengals overrated now? I didn't think they were. I thought that Miami just played up their potential and Cincinnati had a down game. But losing Geno Atkins is really going to hurt on the team's pass rush. Now, as I was mentioning earlier, I did make a comment about one team in particular, and that being the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers is that they're just a mess right now, and I'm going to get to that in my next segment in further detail. But this game in New England is actually very, very winnable. And there's a damn good reason why. Number one, other than Rob Gronkowski, who is healthy and can make plays at Patriots for wide receiver in terms of being a weapon? Nobody. Number two, how good is New England's defense? If Aqib Talib does not play, they are going to be in deep trouble. But if, and I use this very, very loosely, if Aqib Talib is not able to play, then the Steelers are going to be able to have their way with the Patriots through the air. Just like the Ravens did in the AFC title game against the Patriots last year with an inferior quarterback and an inferior receiving corps. Oh, by the way, Talib was hurt in the first half and couldn't return. Are the Patriots overrated, though? That's another question. I mean, if you look at their record right now, they're 6-2 and in first place in the AFC East, which they've pretty much been the last 2.5 decades. That's an expression. They're 17th in points scored and 5th in points allowed. Right now, you look at this team. You look at the guys they have on injury reserve. Vince Wilfork, Sebastian Vollmer, Shane Vereen, Gerard Mayo. What I find interesting about this football team is that they're second to last in the league in rush defense. Teams have been running the ball down their throats. I think the Steelers are going to have a really good chance at holding this game close if they can move the football on the ground with the rookie Le'Veon Bell, who's been a stud at running back since the day he first put on the Pittsburgh uniform. My final prediction for the game is, while I do believe the Steelers can keep this game close, this isn't going to be like Pittsburgh goes, New England gets blown out, goes back home because of Brady. That's not going to happen. This game's going to be close. But the Patriots, I believe, will win it. I think they've got a little bit too much right now. I think Pittsburgh is a little bit, kind of licking its wounds more or less. Put in perspective, the Steelers have a good chance in this game because of two things. One, the difference between them and New England is not that great. Number two, and this is the big one, desperate teams can either play really good or really bad. Steelers had a bad game last week. They're due for a good game this week. So my final prediction for this game is Patriots 27, Steelers 20. And now it's time for my 5 bold predictions, speaking of predictions, for this weekend. 5 bold predictions. Prediction number 1. And this ties into what I just talked about. The Steelers will lose this game by less than 7 points. Yeah, I mean, usually when the Pittsburgh Steelers go up to New England and Brady's starting, you look what's happened the last 2 times. 2002 and then 2007 got crushed. Different scenarios. Completely different. 2002, great and really good defense. That was the middle of the great defense for the Patriots. Now you look at 2007 and they had that great offense they had. By combining the two, you realize Patriots beat the Steelers in 2 different ways. And right now, their defense has lost guys, and their offense is not quite as potent as it used to be. Steelers can keep this game close. My next bold prediction that in the game between the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers, Atlanta will not hit 30 yards rushing. It's kind of funny, but if you look at the 2013 Atlanta Falcons, I mean, it's not like they're running the ball on anybody's threats anyways. I mean, they're 32nd in the league in rushing. They're dead last. They only have one game where they hit 100 yards rushing. But the fact of the matter is this. Carolina's run defense is second in the league. Star Latulippe, Charles Johnson, Greg Hardy, they've been unblockable as defensive linemen this year. And Luke Kuechly as an inside middle linebacker. Damn, that is a ferocious defense. Ferocious. Carolina's not going to be allowing too many running yards. My next bold prediction. Cleveland, in the game against the Ravens, Baltimore Ravens versus the Browns, Cleveland will force 4 turnovers from Joe Flacco. Not saying interceptions, but turnovers. Because you look at Joe Flacco, historically, when he goes on the road sometimes, every once in a while he's due for a stinker. He had a stinker this year in Buffalo, and I think he's due for one now. And my reason being is this. He doesn't have that security blanket named Ray Rice to comfort him much anymore. Ray Rice, it's not so much he's done as an elite running back. He's just not been getting it done this year. Having a down, slumping year. My point is this, and make it clear and concise. Ravens are near the bottom of the league in rushing. Flacco can't win these games himself. Cleveland can be able to get some yards against this Raven defense. They are not going to be forced back like this being a brick wall. And let's not forget, Cleveland gave Baltimore a damn good game in Baltimore this year. 14-6, Cleveland lost it. But still, it was close throughout. It was 7-6 for like most of the game. So I believe that Cleveland's going to do a good job at putting pressure on Flacco. 4 turnovers in this game. Bold prediction number 4. Speaking of number 4. Not only will running back Darren McFadden for the Raiders hit 100 yards rushing, but Terrell Pryor will as well. Anybody who saw the performance last week by the Raiders passing him against the Steelers know if they can't run the ball, they can't do shit. And Chip Kelly, not the defensive mind that people... not the defensive mind. Let's put it this way. He's not known for being a defensive mind. Let's put it that way. He's an offensive genius, sort of. But the Eagles' poor defense and the Raiders' ability to run the football, I believe that Terrell Pryor, in addition, the quarterback, to McFadden, will hit 100 yards rushing. And the reason why I say that is because, has anyone seen Philly's defense this year? Do they know how to tackle? Do they know how to get a turnover or a sack? No, they don't. They don't know how to do anything. If you just look at this team, I mean, this Eagles team is 23rd in points allowed, 31st in yards allowed, 31st against the pass, and although they're 8th against the run, they've not played too many good running games. As evidenced by Kansas City, San Diego, and Denver absolutely lighting them up on the ground. So my bold prediction is that McFadden and Pryor will hit 100 rushing. My final bold prediction. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will lose to the Seattle Seahawks by 14 points or less. And here's my margin. Seattle's 2 touchdowns better, even without Sidney Rice gone for the year with the torn ACL as wide receiver. But Seattle's not playing good football right now. If you were to ask me right now who I think the best team in the NFC is, New Orleans, first and foremost. They're the best team in the NFC. In my opinion, they're the best team in the NFL, including Peyton Manning and the Broncos, because their defenses aren't giving up 40 points a game with all their studs playing. Let me make this very clear. Seattle giving up 6 sacks to two guys together, Robert Quinn and Chris Long. Plus, Rice is gone. Percy Harvin isn't playing yet. So you've got Golden Tate and Doug Baldwin and Zach Miller as your receiving weapons. Rivas is going to shut down one of them. I mean, they're going to know to stop to prepare for the run game. And I know they're going home. Seattle is, but just remember something. Seattle went on the road in St. Louis, played a team that they should have pounded by about 20 points, and they squeaked it out with a goal line stand. I don't care if it come back home. They're in deep shit. Sorry about that. Sorry about my language. Pardon my language. No, it's just weird because I'm using the school's account too, so I can't really swear. Like I don't have the freedom to swear as much. But anyways, Tampa Bay,